Hey everybody, so today we are on day 6 of Identity in Christ, and we're also going to be looking at John chapter 16 verses 16 through 33. So today's devotion was called, I think it was called Walking in Love or something like that. And basically it talked about actually, I guess, living our faith. It talked about how so often, it's so easy to say, oh yes, I'm going to do that, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or whatever. It's so easy to say those things, but as believers, we're called to actually do it. We're actually called to go out and do that, which we're saying. We're called to live out our faith. And so Ephesians 5 talks about how we're called to actually walk in love. We're not just called to say that we're going to love our neighbors. We're not called just to say that we're going to love the people around us, but we're called to actually do it. And so it's a real big challenge because it's so easy to say one thing and then it's another thing to actually do it. It's kind of like what James says in the book of James, how he says that, dead faith equals no faith, and how, we can say we have faith all we want. That's fine and dandy, but, we've actually got to live that out. We've got to show that. We've got to put that on display. We're called to be people who put our faith on display, who live it out on a daily basis and not kind of hide it and keep away for no one else to see. We're not supposed to put Jesus in a tiny little box and hide him away. No, we're supposed to share him. We're called to live out our faith. And so that's the challenge that we're facing, is that we're called to live out our faith, not be people who just simply say, oh yeah, I have faith, I believe in Jesus, but then actually don't do anything with it. We're called to do something with our faith. We're called to put it on display. And then in John chapter 16, there are a couple things I like in this one. The first thing I like is in verse 22. Jesus is talking to the disciples, how he's saying, I'm about to go away, and you're going to grieve now, but eventually you're going to have joy. And to me, this kind of reminds me of when Jesus actually dies, because when you read about the story of when Jesus died and you look at his disciples, what happens? They flee. They run in terror, and they're scared. They don't know what to do. Their main teacher, their main man is dead, and they don't know what to do. So they're saddened, they're heartbroken, and they're scared. But then when Jesus comes back from the dead, that completely changes everything. That completely that just like rocks their faith, because they're like, oh my gosh, this God, this man, he really is the Messiah. He defeated death. And so it kind of gives them, you see that they end up going to their deathbed, because if Jesus really wasn't the Messiah, if Jesus really never did rise from the dead, then why would they go to their death holding on to that truth? Why would someone die for a lie? I don't know anybody that would die, lay down their life for a lie just to keep it hidden up. I don't know anybody who'd be willing to die for a lie. And you see that's exactly what they did. They went to their deathbeds for Jesus. And so, if no one would die for a lie, this means that this has to be true. And then the other thing I really like is at the end of chapter 16, in verse 33, where Jesus is he's talking to the disciples. So he's saying, you're going to have tribulations, you're going to have troubles in this world. But then he leaves them with his big bang. He says, but take heart, for I've already overcome the world. So I love that, because that just gives me so much peace, to know that whatever I'm facing, God's already overcome it. He's already defeated it. So I don't have to worry. I don't have to freak out about all these things in my life, because God's already overcame it. He's already won. He's already, he's defeated it, and he's won. And so take heart. That's what he says. He tells us to take heart, because he's already overcome the world. And so he's defeated death. And so whatever it is you're facing, he's overcome it. So take heart in that. Rejoice in that he's overcome it. All right. Well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.